All right, let's dive into a card that really gets to the heart of, well, a huge part of life, right? The Four of Pentacles. This one is all about that constant push and pull between holding on and letting go, between security and freedom. We're going to break down how this one card can tell you so much about where you're at.
So, right off the bat, I want you to think about this for a second. What are you holding on to maybe just a little too tightly? Seriously, is it money, a relationship, maybe an old grudge that's been hanging around forever? Whatever it is, just keep that thought with you. It's going to be important.
You know, at its heart, the Four of Pentacles is basically a mirror. It's showing us our relationship with all the stuff we try to lock down in life. Our money, our things, even our sense of control. It's not just what we hold on to, but it really makes us ask how, and more importantly, why. Okay, first up, the upright meaning. This is all about holding on tight. It's that energy of control, of wanting to build something solid and secure. And right away, you see the two sides of this coin. On the one hand, holding on can be a really good thing. That's the discipline you need to save up for a down payment or build a nest egg, right? But take it too far, and that same energy turns sour. It becomes stinginess, greed, this real fear of letting anything go. So, what does this holding on energy actually look like? Well, it can be something positive, like financial stability and saving. That's great, but it can also be about possessiveness and control, maybe in a relationship, or it can be straight up hoarding and materialism. It's also the energy of establishing boundaries, which can be healthy, but it can also mean holding on to old grudges, past issues, and when you hold on that tight, it often leads to isolation. It really is all about that grip. Wow, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? Be careful not to hold on so tight that you squeeze the life out of your relationship. That just hits hard. Because when that need for control spills over into how we treat people, it can get so toxic. You think you're securing the connection, but you're actually suffocating it. Okay, so what happens when we flip the card? Now we're talking about the reversed meaning, the art of releasing. The energy completely shifts from holding on to letting go. And just like before, there are two faces to this. Letting go can be amazing. It can be generosity, sharing, being open. But on the flip side, it can tip over into recklessness. We're talking careless spending, maybe gambling, basically losing something important because your grip was way too loose. So the key here is context. The card is really asking you to be honest with yourself. Are you intentionally letting go of people or issues that are holding you back? Are you being generous and open to new things? Or are you just being reckless? Is this leading to financial loss, instability, or maybe even losing something or someone really valuable? It all comes down to the intention behind the release. All right, so we've got these two big energies, holding on and letting go. But what does that actually mean for you in your life? Let's make this real. Let's start with love. Think about your relationships for a minute. Are you holding on to an old grudge? You know the one. Is there a possessiveness there? That's that tight, upright energy. Or are you feeling the reversed energy? Are you finally ready to let go of the past, to forgive, and to actually move on with an open heart? Okay, now for your career. This is a huge one for so many of us. Are you clinging to a job that's stable? Yeah, but it's just soul-crushing. All because you're terrified of losing that security? That is the Four of Pentacles in its most fear-based, upright form. On the other hand, the reversed energy could be about finally sharing your ideas at work, or maybe even letting go of that safe job to find something that actually makes you happy. And this is so interesting. When you look at where we tend to hold on the tightest, it's pretty clear. A huge chunk is emotional baggage. Then comes financial fears, and then toxic situations. It really shows you that most of the time, we're not just clinging to things. We're clinging to the feelings of security or insecurity that they represent. And this can even show up in your health, believe it or not. Holding on to all that stress, those old grudges, it can have a real physical effect. The card can sometimes point to things like water retention. Your body is literally holding on. But when you finally release that negative energy, you can feel a massive shift in your well-being. So you might be thinking, okay, so upright is bad and reversed is good. Well, not exactly. That's actually the wrong way to look at it. The real lesson here, the core message of this card, is all about finding the balance. This chart just lays it out so clearly. See? Holding on gives you stability, but the risk is stagnation and greed. Letting go gives you freedom, but the risk is recklessness and loss. Neither one is the right answer all the time. The goal is not to pick a side and stay there. Because the real message here is about finding a healthy flow. It's about knowing when to save and when it's time to be generous, knowing when to hold someone close and when you need to give them space. It's knowing when to put up a boundary and when to open the door. It's not a fixed state, it's a dance. So how do we actually do this? How do you find that balance? Well, you can start with 3 pretty simple steps. First, just identify what you're clinging to. Be honest. Second, ask yourself, is this coming from a healthy need for security, or is it coming from fear? And third, just practice. Practice small acts of letting go. It doesn't have to be a huge gesture. And that brings us right back to where we started. So I'll ask you again, but with everything we've talked about in mind, what is one thing, just one thing, big or small, that you can loosen your grip on, starting today? What can you do to invite a little more flow back into your life?